본격적인 협상을 들어갑니다. 유니트 11입니다. 협상에 본격적으로 들어가게 되면 이제 부담감 없는 이야기 이런 건 다 싹 갖다 버리고 이제 서로가 원하는 바들을 주거니 받거니 하면서 이제 이야기를 하게 되겠죠. 그럴 때 우리가 어떤 표현을 쓰는지 공부해 보도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 91번 패턴부터 출발을 하죠. We should reduce the price by. We should reduce the price by. 협상에서 가장 꽃은 가격 협상인데 가격은 항상 올리려고 하는 사람은 없어요. 내리려고 하죠. 그래서 we should reduce the price by. 그러면 by 이하까지 가격을 좀 내려야 합니다. 이런 표현이 되겠죠. 20% 정도 가격을 좀 내려야겠습니다. We should reduce the price by 20%. 이렇게 이야기하면 되겠습니다. 무엇은 받아들일 수가 없습니다. is not acceptable. is not acceptable. 이렇게 이야기해서 상대방은 이런 이야기를 합니다. 저희 회사에 투자 좀 해주시죠. 제가 본전 단단히 뽑아드릴게요. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. 그거 받아들일 수 없어요. 니네끼리 투자해. 다음 93번 패턴 갑니다. 무엇은 그렇게 중요한 것이 아닙니다. is a low priority. is a low priority. 상대방이 이렇게 얘기합니다. 시장에 대해서 얘기할 때 we should go to Brazil. 브라질로 우리 가야 됩니다. 브라질이 그렇게 중요한 시장이라는 생각이 안 들 때는 Brazil is a low priority. 이렇게 이야기하면 돼요. low priority. 네, 낮은 우선순위, 낮은 중요성이다. 이렇게 얘기하면 되고요. 무엇을 고려하면 considering 다음에 무언가를 쓰게 됩니다. Considering what our target market likes. 우리의 타겟 마켓이 좋아하는 것을 고려하면 this monitor, 이 모니터는 is not well designed. 잘 디자인되어 있지는 않군요. Considering 무엇을 고려하면 무엇을 고려할 때 이런 뜻이 되겠습니다. 다음입니다. 94번까지 했죠. 이제 95번 패턴. 우리는 뭐할 의향이 있습니다. We are willing to cut the price. 가격을 내릴 그럴 의향이 있습니다. 이렇게 할 때 we are willing to라는 표현 쓴다는 거 잊지 마시고요. 우리는 뭐할 의향이 없습니다. 어떻게 하면 될까요? We are willing to에서 not만 넣으면 돼요. We are not willing to business or there. 거기서 비즈니스 할 마음이 없어요. 무엇을 좀 분명히 할 때, 확실하게 하고 넘어가야 될 부분이 있겠죠? 그럴 때는 let me clarify what I want. 내가 원하는 것을 let me clarify. 확실하게 해 두겠습니다. 뭐할 의향이 있습니다. 당신이 할 수 있다면 동의할 의향이 있다. I'd be willing to comply with if you can. I'd be willing to comply if you can sell more 100 units a month. 한 달에 100대 이상을 팔 수 있다면 동의할 의향이 있습니다. 뭐뭐에 동의합니다. agree란 동사를 쓸 수 있지만 go along with라는 표현을 써서 I can go along with. I can go along with you on that. 그러면 그것에 대해서 당신에게 동의한다. go along with. 무엇을 좀 자세하게 좀 설명해 주실래요? 할 때 expand라는 동사가 있습니다. expand. Could you expand on? Could you please expand on 해서 무엇에 대해서 좀 설명 좀 해 주시겠습니까? 또 우리가 협상하다 보면 상대방의 말은 알겠는데 그걸 받아들일 수가 없을 때가 있어요. 그럴 때 쓸 수 있는 표현입니다. 101번째 패턴 I understand where you are coming from. 지역하면 당신이 어디로부터 오는지를 이해한다. 당신의 입장을 충분히 이해합니다만 but 이렇게 되겠죠. 그러나 이런 식으로 할 수 있고요. 102번 패턴입니다. 제가 보기에는 뭐뭐입니다. The way I look at this, the way I look at it is the way I look at it. 제가 보는 방식은 뭐뭐입니다. 해서 예를 들어서 이 제품에 대해서 어떻게 생각합니까? 라고 상대방이 물어봤을 때 제품이 너무 커. 그러면 the way I look at it is the way I look at it is it's too big. It's too big. 너무 커. 이렇게 되겠죠. 자, 그 다음에 103번 패턴입니다. 무엇을 환영한다, 무엇을 받아들일 수 있을 때는요, receptive라는 형용사가 있어요. I'm receptive to, I'm receptive to, I'm receptive to any ideas about this situation. 이 상황에 대해서 어떠한 생각도 receptive, 받아들일 용의가 있다. 큰 장애 요인은 뭐뭐인 것 같습니다. The major obstacle seems to be 큰 장애 요인은 뭐뭐인 것 같습니다. The major obstacle 이라는 표현 알아두시면 좋겠습니다. 이제 서로 이야기하다 보면은 잘못을 전가할 때가 있는데 이것은 저희의 전적으로 우리의 책임이 아니다. 이런 말 해야 될 때 있지 않겠습니까? 그럴 때 쓸 수 있는 표현 is not entirely our fault. 주어 is not entirely our fault. 예를 들어서 상대방이 마케팅에 있어서 좀 실수를 했어요. 그런데 이것이 우리 잘못이 아니다. 전적으로 우리 잘못이 아니다라고 할 때는 it's not entirely my fault 또는 our fault 이렇게 얘기하면 되겠죠. The bottom line is 106번 패턴인데요. 결론을 지을 때 좋은 표현입니다. The bottom line is 결론은 무엇이다. 예를 들어서 결론적으로 가장 중요한 것은 품질이다 말하고 싶으세요? 그러면 the bottom line is quality 이렇게 이야기를 할 수가 있습니다. Unit 11 여러 가지 패턴들 많이 있었군요. 네, 이렇게 해서 Unit 11은 마치도록 하겠습니다.
Pattern 91. We should reduce the price by. We should reduce the price to.
We need to come up with a new idea.
We should reduce the price by 20%.
Is that the only solution to this horrible situation?
Yes, I think so. 1.
We should reduce the price by 10%. We should reduce the price by 10%.
2. We should reduce the price of all our goods to $99. We should reduce the price of all our goods to $99. 3.
We should raise the price of our crude oil by 20 cents a barrel. We should raise the price of our crude oil by 20 cents a barrel.
4. We should reduce the price by 5%. We should reduce the price by 5%. 5.
We should reduce the price by $20. We should reduce the price by $20.
6. We should reduce the price to 1,000 won. We should reduce the price to 1,000 won. 7.
We should reduce the price by 30% during the sale. We should reduce the price by 30% during the sale.
8. We should reduce the price by 15% on their next order. We should reduce the price by 15% on their next order. 9.
We should raise the price of a pack of cigarettes to 5,000 won. We should raise the price of a pack of cigarettes to 5,000 won.
10. We should reduce the price of the models on this display to $1,000. We should reduce the price of the models on this display to $1,000. Pattern 92. Are not acceptable.
So, we suggest that you invest over $10 million in our company.
That is not acceptable. It's too big an investment for us.
Then we have no choice but to look for another investor.
I understand. 1,
The project is not acceptable. The project is not acceptable.
2. Lowering the price is not acceptable. Lowering the price is not acceptable. 3.
Our R&D budget cut is not acceptable. Our R&D budget cut is not acceptable.
4. Raising the price is not acceptable. Raising the price is not acceptable. 5.
Delays in payment are not acceptable. Delays in payment are not acceptable.
6. The current lead time is not acceptable. The current lead time is not acceptable. 7.
Delaying the opening date is not acceptable. Delaying the opening date is not acceptable.
8. Working overtime every night is not acceptable. Working overtime every night is not acceptable. 9.
The 6-month probationary rule is not acceptable. The 6-month probationary rule is not acceptable.
10. These unreasonable demands are not acceptable. These unreasonable demands are not acceptable. Pattern 93. Is a low priority.
So we should go to Brazil.
Brazil is a low priority.
Can you tell me why?
Brazilians are not that interested in IT products. 1.
Its size is a low priority. Its size is a low priority.
2. This project is a low priority. This project is a low priority. 3.
Updating the program is a low priority. Updating the program is a low priority.
4. The software is a low priority. The software is a low priority. 5.
The first issue is a low priority. The first issue is a low priority.
6. A variety of foods is a low priority. A variety of foods is a low priority. 7.
The contract period is a low priority. The contract period is a low priority.
8. The number of buttons is a low priority. The number of buttons is a low priority. 9.
Investment in 3D products is a low priority. Investment in 3D products is a low priority.
10. Upgrading our computer network is a low priority. Upgrading our computer network is a low priority. Pattern 94. Considering
Considering what our target market likes, this monitor is not well designed.
I agree.
Young people like red better.
Okay, then let's change the color. 1.
Considering the current situation, we can do nothing. Considering the current situation, we can do nothing.
2. Considering what she said, we'll have to work tomorrow. Considering what she said, we'll have to work tomorrow. 3.
Considering their opinion, we should amend our company's policy. Considering their opinion, we should amend our company's policy.
4. Considering their age, this color is not desirable. Considering their age, this color is not desirable. 5.
Considering these factors, we should quit the project. Considering these factors, we should quit the project.
6. Considering the local weather, clothes should be thin. Considering the local weather, clothes should be thin. 7.
Considering their wants, we should discontinue them. Considering their wants, we should discontinue them.
8. Considering it's supposed to be ergonomic, it's really uncomfortable. Considering it's supposed to be ergonomic, it's really uncomfortable. 9.
Considering the schedule, we need to finish it by at least next month. Considering the schedule, we need to finish it by at least next month.
10. Considering the condition of the factory, we can't produce over 100 units a day. Considering the condition of the factory, we can't produce over 100 units a day. Pattern 95. We're willing to.
We're willing to cut the price.
Thank you very much.
But there is one condition.
Please let us know what it is. 1.
We're willing to relocate our office. We're willing to relocate our office.
2. We're willing to renew the contract. We're willing to renew the contract. 3.
We're willing to take part in the bidding. We're willing to take part in the bidding.
4. We're willing to take your advice. We're willing to take your advice. 5.
We're willing to buy your TV sets. We're willing to buy your TV sets.
6. We're willing to increase your salary. We're willing to increase your salary. 7.
We're willing to give up our patent rights. We're willing to give up our patent rights.
8. We're willing to order 10,000 units a year. We're willing to order 10,000 units a year. 9.
We're willing to support you in this election. We're willing to support you in this election.
10. We're willing to raise funds for the new business. We're willing to raise funds for the new business. Pattern 96. We're not willing to.
India has huge potential.
I know, but we're not willing to do business there.
Could you fill me in on that?
Most Indians do not like to walk around during the daytime. 1.
We're not willing to promote you. We're not willing to promote you.
2. We're not willing to change suppliers. We're not willing to change suppliers. 3.
We're not willing to close our business. We're not willing to close our business.
4. We're not willing to build green cars. We're not willing to build green cars. 5.
We're not willing to conduct a survey. We're not willing to conduct a survey.
6. We're not willing to do that this year. We're not willing to do that this year. 7.
We're not willing to take part in the auction. We're not willing to take part in the auction.
8. We're not willing to take on the Sony account. We're not willing to take on the Sony account. 9.
We're not willing to hire more marketing people. We're not willing to hire more marketing people.
10. We're not willing to invest in the Danish market. We're not willing to invest in the Danish market. Pattern 97. Let me clarify.
Let me clarify what I want.
Please do.
A 10% discount when we order 1,000 units or more.
No problem. 1.
Let me clarify what I just said. Let me clarify what I just said.
2. Let me clarify my previous statement. Let me clarify my previous statement. 3.
Let me clarify whose responsibility it is. Let me clarify whose responsibility it is.
4. Let me clarify my request. Let me clarify my request. 5.
Let me clarify why we need it. Let me clarify why we need it.
6. Let me clarify a few points here. Let me clarify a few points here. 7.
Let me clarify how we work together. Let me clarify how we work together.
8. Let me clarify why we should file a suit. Let me clarify why we should file a suit. 9.
Let me clarify when we start the meeting. Let me clarify when we start the meeting.
10. Let me clarify where we'll have our workshops. Let me clarify where we'll have our workshops. Pattern 98. I'd be willing to comply if you can.
We can't sell it at the current price.
Price does not matter in that market.
I don't agree. Nothing is more important than pricing. Please reduce the price by 20%.
I'd be willing to comply if you can sell more than 100 units a month. 1.
I'd be willing to comply if you can work on weekends. I'd be willing to comply if you can work on weekends.
2. I'd be willing to comply if you can customize it for us. I'd be willing to comply if you can customize it for us. 3.
I'd be willing to comply if you can extend the warranty period. I'd be willing to comply if you can extend the warranty period.
4. I'd be willing to comply if you can buy more. I'd be willing to comply if you can buy more. 5.
I'd be willing to comply if you can enlarge it. I'd be willing to comply if you can enlarge it.
6. I'd be willing to comply if you can build it in Sudan. I'd be willing to comply if you can build it in Sudan. 7.
I'd be willing to comply if you can make them less harmful. I'd be willing to comply if you can make them less harmful.
8. I'd be willing to comply if you can produce a new type of monitor. I'd be willing to comply if you can produce a new type of monitor. 9.
I'd be willing to comply if you can reduce your company's emissions. I'd be willing to comply if you can reduce your company's emissions.
10. I'd be willing to comply if you can buy 50 cases at the price of $20 a bottle. I'd be willing to comply if you can buy 50 cases at the price of $20 a bottle. Pattern 99. I can go along with.
We'd like you to pay before we ship it.
I can go along with you on that.
And please use our designated bank.
Please let me know the bank and the account number. 1.
I can go along with your idea. I can go along with your idea.
2. I can go along with your opinion. I can go along with your opinion. 3.
I can go along with your suggestion. I can go along with your suggestion.
4. I can go along with your plan. I can go along with your plan. 5.
I can go along with your view. I can go along with your view.
6. I can go along with your feeling. I can go along with your feeling. 7.
I can go along with you on that. I can go along with you on that.
8. I can go along with your proposal. I can go along with your proposal. 9.
I can go along with your point of view. I can go along with your point of view.
10. I can go along with your product concept. I can go along with your product concept. Pattern 100. Could you expand on?
So if we make a better product, we'll dominate the market.
Could you expand on the product you'd like us to develop?
Sure. I mean one with a movie download function.
Oh, I see. Let me think about it. 1.
Could you expand on the charts? Could you expand on the charts?
2. Could you expand on your sales goal? Could you expand on your sales goal? 3.
Could you expand on the standards of compensation? Could you expand on the standards of compensation?
4. Could you expand on that? Could you expand on that? 5.
Could you expand on your strategies? Could you expand on your strategies?
6. Could you expand on our labor union? Could you expand on our labor union? 7.
Could you expand on the new commission policy? Could you expand on the new commission policy?
8. Could you expand on what sacrificing quality means? Could you expand on what sacrificing quality means? 9.
Could you expand on its supply and demand situation? Could you expand on its supply and demand situation?
10. Could you expand on the size of this year's operating budget? Could you expand on the size of this year's operating budget?